Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? How are you reading? Are you reading? What are you reading? Let me know in the comments. Today, we are going to be reviewing Abby Jimenez's Say You'll Remember Me. And before we get to the review, I will be telling you a recap, pretty much spoiling the whole book for you. If you like that, please keep watching. If not, I'll catch you in my next video. So, Say You'll Remember Me. We follow a couple, Samantha and Xavier. They're navigating this new long-distance relationship while both of them are dealing with things in their lives. Before I tell you what they're dealing with, Samantha, she's our FMC. She is outgoing, adventurous, witty, funny, and she is also a social media manager for this mom and pop mustard brand. Xavier, he is a broody, grumpy old vet. He's not old, but you know what I mean. It is indeed Zoomy time for Lulu right now, so let's get the Lulu counter going. They both live in Minnesota. Xavier has his clinic. He opened it 2 years prior to meeting Samantha. It's his pride and joy, and he's very, very proud of himself for making it happen. He grew up with very emotionally and physically abusive parents. He had a learning disability growing up. His parents would call him stupid and said he would never amount to anything. He eventually ran off to one of his best friends and tells him and his parents everything, got him out of his house and started living with Mike's family. Now doesn't talk to his parents anymore, does not keep in contact. Even when they try to contact him, he's just kind of like, nope. Is your mouse stuck? Do you need to go get it? Let's go get it. Go get it. Go get it. Those two are our FMC and MMC. The book starts off with a client coming in to want to euthanize her dog, this golden retriever, the one that you actually see on the book cover. She wants to euthanize this dog because she no longer wants to take care of it because it was her mom's dog who has now passed away and she doesn't want to take care of the dog. She tells Xavier, well, if you don't put him down, I have my boyfriend who's willing to put him down with a pew-pew in our backyard. Xavier pretty much tells her, I'll do it, because he doesn't want no trouble, especially if a guy has a pew-pew. No thank you, no thank you, no thank you, I will do your business. But does he actually do the business? No, he does not. He takes the dog back and takes him home. But Vivian, wouldn't the woman want her dog's ashes? I'm so glad you mentioned that. They actually took someone else's dog. Actually, no, just I think a random dog that they had to euthanize because of health issues a while ago, maybe like a few days prior, and just handed that unknown dog's ashes to the woman. Lulu! Xavier takes the dog home and names him Jake from State Farm. He's not. You don't have anything in there. Your tail's going crazy, but there's nothing in there for you. Stop it. No. Go. Ah! Don't hurt me. So we have a sense of what kind of vet he is. You know, he's unfriendly to human. He even says he does not like people, but he loves dogs. I can relate. I think a lot of us can. It's exhausting being around people sometimes. That's why the internet exists. But anyway, fast forwarding, Samantha brings a kitty cat in. This kitty cat is abandoned. She found her, who she eventually names Pooter. She brings Pooter to Xavier's clinic to make sure that she's okay. She can get all of her shots. She has no underlying issues. Also, Samantha came in with Pooter in her cleavage. And Xavier's inner monologue when he first sees Samantha is just, oh my goodness. She is a goddess. I am infatuated. And she also later admits that he thinks that he's hot. It's just that his personality is a turnoff. Xavier checks on Pooter, does everything, checks her gums, checks her teeth, checks her stomach, her heartbeat, everything. And then he lifts her tail up like, whoop. And what does he not find? A butthole. Yes, Pooter does not have a butthole. Samantha is obviously saying, what do we do? What's going to happen? How is he pooping? Because she has been pooping. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty on how Pooter's been pooping, but you know what? If you want to know, you should read the book. Long story short, Xavier suggests her to put her down. Samantha says, no, she refuses. I will not Put this cat down. So Xavier calls her selfish. You want this cat to go through a surgery that's gonna cost you $10,000, thereabouts. He pretty much accuses her for not being able to fundraise that amount of money within a short amount of time. And we don't even know if the surgery is actually gonna work, how they're gonna reconstruct a butthole for her. You're selfish. Then he just kind of walks out the room. He just leaves. Samantha chases after him. What makes you think I can't crowdfund this? I can definitely crowdfund this because people are nice. It's human nature to want to help. And Xavier just pretty much says, well, people are assholes. They're not gonna want to help. Samantha leaves him with a, well, so are you. You're an asshole too. He just thought that Samantha was one of those people who wouldn't put down their pet even though their pet is suffering. Samantha does end up crowdfunding the $9,000. I think she even got it to $10,000. Xavier saw it and donated $500. Pooter has her surgery, a few days pass, and Sam shows back up to Xavier's clinic. Tells him, hey, I just want you to double check if he's okay, kind of like a follow-up, even though Xavier was not the one who performed the surgery on Pooter. Also, I'm flying soon. Can you please clear her to fly and give her a sedative on the plane? Xavier complies. He also apologizes for being such an asshole. Samantha accepts his apology. He asks her out on a date and she says yes. Samantha, she is flying to California because her mother has dementia. She doesn't even remember Samantha. She remembers Geneva, Samantha's sister, who is living with her. Their dad is also taking care of her. Their grandma is also taking care of her. But Samantha just wants to create more memories with her mom, even if her mom doesn't remember her. Does Xavier know this? No, he doesn't. And the only reason why Xavier knows that she's moving is because when he took her back home after the date, her apartment is just bare. There's no furniture. There's nothing. Not even a fork or a spoon. There's just an air mattress and I think a towel. And she folded it up all into her luggage. Don't! Lulu, do not bite that. She was biting on my lighting equipment. Anyway, she stuffed it all in her luggage after she brushes her teeth and after she showers and stuff like that. But let me backtrack a bit to their date. It was such a cute date. They went on an adoption cruise, which I didn't even know that's a thing. You can go on the cruise and you can adopt animals. That's pretty freaking cool. I would like to do that. I would love to do that. This also goes hand in hand with Xavier's work because he loves to volunteer. They end up spending the whole night there. They had dinner there, they had fun, they were looking at all the cats and dogs. At the end of the night, after the cruise was over, neither of them wanted to go home. And Xavier is just frantically texting his friends, which he only has 2 friends. So it's 2 friends and actually 3. Because one of them is one of the guys' fiance. Xavier is texting the group chat saying, where should I take her? I don't want to go home yet. I really like this girl. I'm having a lot of fun and I haven't had a lot of fun on a date in a long time because I haven't gone on a date in a long time. His friends tell him you should take her to mini golfing. Xavier says, that's a great idea. Tell Samantha. And she says, I would love to go mini golfing because she also doesn't want to go home. They get in the car, get to the mini golf, and who do they see there? His friends. They crashed their date because they wanted to meet her. And they loved Samantha. And Samantha had so much fun with them too. Xavier and Samantha teamed up, crushed everybody. But what happens now? Mini golfing is over. Can you hear that plane? So rude. Samantha suggests, well, do you want to go to an escape room? There's one that closes at 1 a.m. 1 a.m.? I didn't know escape rooms open that late. If I was a worker, I would not be very happy if someone came in at 12. It's midnight. And Samantha is saying, do you want to go to an escape room? If I worked at the escape room as the employee, I would just raise hell. I would be pissed. Another plane. Oh, this one's pretty far this time, actually. I think he's circling around. It's kind of hovering. Anyway, Xavier pretty much says, yeah, I'll go to an escape room. I want to spend more time with you. So they get into the escape room. They have an hour. They get to, I believe, 57 minutes and they hit the button and they're like, we did it! Except no one is coming to open the door. Well, maybe they're actually going to wait until the hour mark is done and then they're going to come. So they wait a few minutes. They're about to kiss and everything. And Samantha says, it's been It's been more than a few minutes, right? Let's check the door if it's locked. It's freaking locked. They end up stuck in this escape room for 5 hours. Now, in these 5 hours that they're stuck, Samantha, she's panicking. She's panicking because she has a flight to catch at 7 a.m. that same morning. Eventually, the manager comes to let her out. Where have you been all night? I don't know, because it's 5 a.m. right now. This place closes at 1. Where were you between 1 and 5? I would be pissed. Anyways, they got out, they go home. Well, actually, Xavier takes her home, which is, remember when I said that he finds out that she's actually moving? Yeah, he finds out, and she says, I just need you to forget about me. Girl, you won't even be able to forget him. Let's be real now. Shoot, if I was Xavier, I'd be like, I don't think so. I will still be talking to you, and I'm going to see how far we can take this. And if we end up being in a relationship, we'll be in a relationship. But right now, I am getting ahead of myself because we're not even there yet. Also, they have an inside joke because while they were stuck inside the escape room, Come On Eileen has been on the loop. It's a song, and it's been playing on a loop for 5 hours, and so that is now their inside joke. Anyway, the next morning, actually more like 2 hours later, Samantha gets to Cali, and she settles down in her grandma's house. And also, Samantha has a brother named Tristan. He also came back to stay with the family. He's kind of like a nomad. He likes to travel. It just so happens that he is home, probably also to take care of their mom too. Xavier sent her a text after she landed and was pretty much checking up on her. Did you get there okay? How was the flight? But after that, nothing. And Samantha just kind of wasn't happy about that. She did say, well, I did tell him to forget about me. And yet she's upset that he's not texting her. Well, little does she know, Xavier does her one better. He texts her or calls her, can I come see you? And she says, come over. And they have this amazing, beautiful, fun, and romantic 2-day weekend together, with Samantha taking Xavier all around LA in her mom's old car. This weekend became so unforgettable for them, which becomes a problem because both of them end up falling for each other even harder. And then when they had to say goodbye, again, Samantha throws out the line, I need you to forget about me. You need to go find yourself another girl and just settle down and forget about me. Just forget about me. Xavier doesn't. 2 months later, everything has just been really heavy in Samantha's household. Her mom's having these breakdowns, and a lot of the times they don't know how to calm her down from it. And the one way that they feel like they could bond as a family activity, remodeling the house. They start smashing down everything. They're doing the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, everything that's going on in Samantha's life. Just to update you, Xavier is coming up with a reason to go to Cali again. You know how he's a vet, right? Vet has conferences that they have to go through. He calls Samantha, hey, I'm coming to LA, to Long Beach for a conference. Do you want to have dinner with me? And Samantha says, as friends, right? Xavier's like, yeah, of course, as friends. Xavier, we talked about this. Yeah, like, who wants to go on a date with you? He doesn't actually say that, but that's the vibe that we're going for. Xavier arrives. He rents a car this time because he's like, I'm not driving in your piece of shit car. And I'm not letting you drive that piece of shit car because that is not safe for you to drive in. There's no AC in LA where it's freaking hot all the time and you have no AC. You have no airbags. I do not want you to come pick me up in that, and I do not want you to drive in that while I'm here. So he rents a car, picks her up, drives to the restaurant. Samantha is just like, I will pay for myself. Xavier's like, no, it's okay. I'll pay. If you pay for me, it's a date. It's not a date. It was a date because little does Samantha know there is a conference in Long Beach, except Xavier's not going. It was just a friend to see you. He divulges this information after he takes her home, before Samantha goes into her apartment, which is directly above her grandmother's house. So instead of a guest house, you have a guest apartment. Very cute. Xavier asks her, can we go get breakfast tomorrow? Breakfast? You have to drive an hour to Long Beach tomorrow. If we get breakfast, that means we have to get up at 5 a.m. for us to be able to eat, for you to drive to Long Beach. That's not happening. Well, I can always just skip it. What do you mean you can skip it? Well, that is how she finds out. And Xavier says, I really like you. I don't think that I can live without you. And, after hearing that, Samantha folds and they start making out. They were about to do the nasty and they about to bump uglies just for her inflatable mattress to deflate. Oh, but that's not even the worst part. The worst part is after the bed was deflated, they hear a noise outside. Samantha's mom got out. Somebody forgot to lock the door, and it wasn't Samantha, because remember when I said that she lives in an apartment above, so she doesn't have to go through the house. So somebody left the door unlocked, and her mom has been battling with a palm tree. She was scared. She doesn't know how to get out. She's traumatized, and when Samantha tried to help her, this part it just makes me cringe because it's one of my worst fears. Just rips her earring out of her ear because she's just blindly grabbing onto everything. And so Samantha's bleeding, her mom's hysterical. Samantha never wanted Xavier to see this because it's just messy. He calms her down. Then Geneva comes out and she says, "What happened?" "Well, mom got out." Samantha goes to find Tristan, who now lives in the basement of the house, accuses him for being irresponsible and not locking the door. Tristan vehemently denies that was him. Samantha doesn't believe him and says, "Why are you even back? You're creating more trouble than we already have. This hurts. If it wasn't my fault, and you're so angry to the point where you're telling me that I'm not wanted here, I'd be pissed too." We later find out that it's actually their dad who left the door unlocked. He said that he has a headache. The second that man said that, you don't have Advil at home? You don't have Tylenol? You don't have anything to help with your headache? You have to go out at 2 a.m. I mean, it is possible that you don't have anything to help with your headache, but it's not your first time going out while dealing with your wife who has dementia. So I was sus of him. Very, very sus. Samantha and Xavier pretty much come to a conclusion that they want to try long distance. Xavier is just saying, I will do whatever it takes to get this to work. I will work as much as I can, save up to come see you as often as I can. Now, some time has passed. She gets an email from work, pretty much telling her that we want you to come to Minnesota for a work meeting. We'll pay for everything. Samantha obviously says yes because 1, she doesn't have a choice. She has to go because it's work, and 2, she wants to go see Xavier. It's been a while since they saw each other because they've both been working so much, especially Xavier. They spend a lot of time together. They get a sense of what it's like to come home to each other. That makes Xavier want to work harder. He doesn't know how he's going to do it because his clinic, he had to take a loan out of, I think, $900,000. And even after he sells everything, he sells his clinic and stuff, he would only get $700,000 from it. So he would still be $200,000 in debt. And even if he did move to LA, he wouldn't have a practice. He wouldn't have any money. He'd be in a lot more debt. Eventually, she flies home. Now, fast forward again. One of Xavier's best friend has a sister who works at a diner. She actually saw Xavier's mom come in with a couple of her friends. His mom was pretty much gloating and bragging that Xavier was her son. He's established, well-known, has his own clinic, just bragging as if she's the reason as to why Xavier has all of his successes. This pissed Xavier off. And remember when I said that he never responds and doesn't contact them? Well, his mother has the gall to call his clinic and says, "Can I speak to Xavier?" to one of the nurses who work at Xavier's clinic. Xavier can't just not answer the phone, which I would have just been like, click. He answers the phone and the mom is just trying to be pleasant. "Well, hi Xavier, how come you're not calling? How have you been? How's life? You know you don't even contact us anymore." And Xavier's just, "What do you need?" He's very short. Mother tries a different tactic. to egg him on. I see that you stayed ungrateful this whole time. You're just like how you've always been. And Xavier's just like, what do I have to be grateful for? For you guys who beat me and call me stupid all the time? And saying that I will never amount to anything? Now that I've proven you wrong, what do you need? And the mom says, I've seen your reviews. People are saying you're just a terrible vet and terrible attitude. When your business fails, don't come crawling back to us. Click. Bro, I don't... You read about moms like this, and I'm just thinking, how can any mothers treat their children like this? You might as well just not have any children. Which actually, I think that Xavier's parents never wanted him. That's why they treated him like a burden. Xavier is just, cannot believe what just happened and tell Samantha all about it, because this phone call happened the day before he flew out to go see Samantha. What a damper. His parents suck. Samantha's dad is actually not much better, because we end up finding out that he's been having an affair. He's been getting some. And also, I forgot to tell you about this. Samantha adopted a pug. One day when Samantha and Xavier were shopping at Vaughn's, they were at the parking lot. Xavier saw a pug overheating in a car. He would have died of dehydration if Xavier wasn't there. So, like the man that he is, Xavier broke through the car window, got the pug out, attracting a whole ass crowd, trying to revive him, trying to lower his body heat. And like, people are just running into Vaughn's and getting water for the pug, for Xavier to help the dog. The owner comes out, what the fuck did you do to my car? Samantha is just like, we're saving your freaking dog. He would have died if it wasn't for my boyfriend. Well, I left the window cracked. And then someone else in the crowd says, what if we left you in a cracked car? How would you like it? You monster. That's another lady in the crowd. Everybody were recording. And you know what happens when people record stuff? They end up on the internet. And so Xavier and Samantha goes viral, especially Xavier, and that led to a lot of 5-star reviews on his clinic, because nobody works harder than the internet and finding a hot guy. So they found his clinic, left 5-star reviews. The owner pretty much is getting trashed online. Also, the owner, he got a ticket. It's animal cruelty. Samantha called the cops. Owner crumbled up the ticket and just started sizing up Xavier. He's just not happy that he got a ticket. All of this just for a pug. He left without the dog. And Samantha's like, well, I always wanted a pug. So she now has Pooter, the ex non-butthole cat, and Pug, the ex almost died dog. Fast forward, it is now Christmas Eve. Xavier hired a retired vet. This retired vet used to work with Maggie and Tina, which are the 2 nurses who are now working at Xavier's clinic. The 2 of them reached out, tells him, hey, I think Xavier's drowning a lot. If you can come and help Xavier out, that would be great. Xavier is telling him, I can't afford to hire you. Hank tells him, I'll work for free. You'll work for free? Why would you do that? I retired before because 1, my partner wanted to retire. 2, my wife wasn't doing well health-wise, and she is now gone. So he just wants to work with Maggie and Tina again and help out. Now, Xavier gets a phone call from Samantha saying that her grandmother passed away. Xavier ends up flying to LA to support Samantha through all of this and her family. Unfortunately, this does set him back financially because he was planning on working in the ER. He was already covering someone else's shift. Now he has to get someone else to cover his shift, and on Christmas morning, getting the ticket last minute, literally last minute. The only available seats were first class. So yeah, very, very trying times. Now that her grandmother is not here anymore, Samantha works remote. She pretty much becomes her mom's primary caregiver. Xavier stayed in LA, I think about for 2, maybe 3 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. He closed down his clinic. On top of that, he closed it for an extra week so he can be there for Samantha. Some time has passed. Xavier is still working every day because the man is literally drowning in debt. He has no time to sleep. Now, he is working 7 days a week. He gave up all of his volunteering work and work extra ER shifts over the weekend. He doesn't get holidays off because he gets a time and a half at hospitals. He's literally working 24/7. He probably gets maybe average 5 hours of sleep. And then he's going back to work. He doesn't have a social life. He has a nice body. He looks like a Greek god. Well, Greek god ain't got no time to go get his Greek body bodying at the gym because he has to work so much. Anyway, we move on after... Lulu, what are you doing? What are you doing? After Samantha's grandmother passed away, I think it's probably not even a month, she got laid off because the company is downsizing the marketing department. So now, not only is Samantha suffering emotionally, physically, but also financially. Xavier's just telling her, you'll be okay, just you'll find another job. I mean, before she was working and taking care of her mom, but now all she's doing is just taking care of her. Before, when her grandmother was still alive, Samantha was doing her mom's makeup, painting her nails, dyeing her hair. Actually, Tristan does that. She loved doing that for her mom because that's what she used to do. She used to do her makeup, get her nails done, get her roots done, until she really became her mom's full-time caregiver and pretty much stopped doing all that because she just gets so exhausted. She can't even seek out comfort from one person she loves. Well, not one person, but you know what I mean. Tristan, remember Tristan? Her little brother? At this point, he's already forgiven her for the things that she said from the night when the door was unlocked and her mom was just let outside. Tristan tells Samantha, I am tired of looking at your miserable ass. I bought you a ticket to go see your boyfriend. She packs, flies to Minnesota, does not tell Xavier because she wants to surprise him, gets in the Uber. Xavier calls her, where are you? I'm in the Uber. I'm 45 minutes away from your house. Silence. Xavier? Samantha, I'm in your apartment, on your bed in LA. And mind you, Xavier is sick. He has a fever, very high fever, because he's just working so much. He's not getting the care and rest that he needs. He still flew to LA to go see her. Man is whipped. So they're just trying to figure out, well, who's gonna get to who faster? Xavier gets there faster. This man flew 4,000 miles in one day while having a fever, which we find out is actually pneumonia. Well, he thinks that it's pneumonia. He had to stay in the hospital for a few days, which he has to pay for, which sets him back even more financially. So that's great. After Xavier gets better, he just sits down with Hank while they're both eating lunch because the girls, Maggie and Tina, loves making them food. They're like the mother hens, taking care of Xavier and Hank. They're sitting down, eating lunch, and Hank is asking, what's wrong? What's going on? Xavier just tells him everything, how he's having this long-distance relationship. He's trying to make things work, but he just financially can't. Hank gives him some wisdom, just said, listen, do you know how many failed businesses I had? This is your first business. You will fail and you will keep going. You're gonna be in debt, but that's just life. You can't just worry about finance all the time. You have to live your life, because right now, this Samantha girl, she's who you love, right? She's who you picture yourself to be with for the rest of your life, right? That kind of love doesn't happen all the time. She's gonna start slipping away. She could be out of your life. Hank is pretty much telling Xavier, get your ass out of Minnesota and get your ass to LA. Also, when Xavier was younger, he had a dog. I think their dog's name was Sadie. The dog was never fixed, and so she kept having puppies. And with his parents being horrible human beings, every time that the dog would have a litter, he would unalive them by taking a swim in the bathtub every single time. One night, the dog got sick. Xavier didn't want to tell his parents, so he ran out into the street. It was pouring rain that night. Runs into a clinic, tells the receptionist, I really need to see the doctor right now. Just crying and bawling, explains his situation to the vet. The vet listens to him and ends up fixing Sadie and giving her all the shots because she never got any of her shots. That was Hank. Hank became his role model, became his inspiration to become a vet. Hank was like, I wasn't sure at first when I saw you, but then I later realized that you were that 12-year-old boy who were crying for my help. And I'm so proud of you. Those words, he never had a parental figure who told him that they're proud of him. They have this really sweet moment and their lunch break ends. Hank tells him one more time to go to where Samantha is. You go be happy. Now, on to Samantha. Samantha has been trying to look for a job, got a job offer. So she calls a family meeting. I have a job offer, but if I take this job, I can no longer care for mom like the way that I have been. So we have that option where I take the job offer. We put mom in a care facility. We all pitch in and make sure that she gets the care that she needs. Or I can decline the job and we can really work as an actual family unit to get through this, because right now we're not acting as a family unit. We haven't been a family unit. We have not been working together. I've laid 2 of these options on the table. Which ones do you want to take? Geneva, the sister, says it's mom's wish to be kept at home instead of going to a care facility. We shouldn't send her to a home. We should honor her wish. But Samantha tells Geneva, I know you want to honor mom's wish, but you don't know what it's like to care for mom when it's literally just me. And now that grandma is gone and I'm taking up her role, I understand, not saying that what dad did was okay. It definitely wasn't okay, but I could understand how stressful and how much it takes out of you to take care of mom. Especially because mom is constantly asking, where's grandma? Samantha has been telling her time and time and time again, she's at Vaughn's, she'll be back, even though she knows damn well that grandma is not at Vaughn's and she is definitely not coming back. And she had to keep reciting this lie over and over and over and over again to her mom every single day, probably every 10 minutes or so, or every hour. It's constant. It's driving her insane. And she can't leave the house, because if she leaves the house, who's going to take care of the mom? The dad has work, Tristan has work, Geneva has work, and she has 2 sons, twins, that she has to care for. As much as we want to honor her wishes, honoring her wish is not what's doing right for her. Mom would not want us to do this to ourselves, to the point where we can't take care of ourselves because we're too busy taking care of her. She wouldn't want that. And so the general consensus is that they will keep their mom at home for now and see how that goes. Now, we are coming to an end, guys. 3 months later, Samantha finds a job. I believe it's to help with cat and dog adoptions, and she's doing very well. She was able to get a lot of animals adopted because of her marketing. They're still keeping their mom at home, taking care of her. One day when they're in the garden, they're at the gazebo listening to music. She's taking in the greenery and surroundings and just feeling calm. All of a sudden, she turns around and she sees Xavier there. And Jake from State Farm, the dog. He brought his dog. Like, what are you doing here? Well, I'm glad you asked. He moved to LA. He moved to LA to be with her. His practice, he left it. He sold everything that he owned. He practically has nothing. He doesn't have a job. All he has is a vet license. He pops the question, and she says yes. 11 months later, they're married. On top of that, Xavier has 2 practices now. The one from Minnesota, Hank, being the MVP, he gathered his ex-vet friends and all of them took turns taking care of the clinic and kept it going. And Xavier started a new clinic in LA. It's a happy ending. It is a happy ending. There's no 3rd act breakup, which I love. I hate 3rd act breakups. I hate the misunderstanding trope. These 2 are so clear cut on what they want. A lot of these times when I'm reading books with miscommunication tropes, you know that if you guys just took the time to just sit down and have a conversation, sometimes it might take more than one conversation. But at least then if you're conversing about what you want, what you don't want, what you hate, what you like, I am so glad that we actually have 2 adults. Not just 1, 2. Both respective parties are good with communicating on what they want. I love these 2 together. They're so supportive of each other. Samantha was going through more shit than Xavier was, so he was the one supporting Samantha more. But when it comes time for Samantha to support him, she's there, never hesitated. They just love so hard, and I love that. I'm pretty sure. No! If you're gonna do that, I'm moving you. You're gonna go right here. I love a good yearning book, but I feel like this book, even though there's instant connection, instant love, they're still yearning because they don't know if they can make it work. So they keep pushing each other away. Well, actually, Samantha was pushing Xavier away, and Xavier just keeps coming back like a golden retriever. I love how Xavier is just all in for Samantha, and eventually Samantha became all in. Granted, she has other stuff going on too, but she's doing the best that she can. I did see quite a few people saying that Xavier was making a lot of dumb decisions when it came to Samantha, but I don't hate that he made these dumb decisions. Are they the smartest? Probably not, especially when he's so blindsided with wanting to see her so much that he's pushing his body to the limit and over the limit. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of other people? On top of that, you're a doctor. If anybody should have the sense of taking care of themselves, it should be the doctor, right? But it's not. We just have to remember that when people are in love, they will do anything. Also, I just love how Abby Jimenez writes realistic situations. For example, the dementia. I fortunately have never had anybody in my immediate family have dementia. It's just such a beast. And it's so sad to see because you see their mind deteriorating as time goes by. They just lose a part of themselves. For example, Lisa, Samantha's mom, she used to do her makeup. She used to get her roots touched up. She used to do her nails. She didn't need a diaper or anything, but as time went on and as the dementia got worse, little pieces of Lisa, of her mom, gets stripped away. Lisa's loved ones, they have to watch this happen. They can't help but feel heartbroken and helpless because they know they can't do anything about it. They're just trying to make everything work. I really love the family dynamic. For Xavier, I cannot say the same. I really do love Hank's role in this. It just came full circle and we got to meet the vet who inspired Xavier to become a vet. If there is one thing that I wish we had more of, is I wish that we get a little bit more from Xavier's family. Not necessarily from the past, but I want to see Xavier or Samantha hand Xavier's parents' asses to them. Because their last conversation, she was just shitting on Xavier. I didn't like that. I wanted Xavier to stick it in their faces and be like, ha! Not only did I not fail my business, it was going to, but it didn't, and I opened up a second clinic. Thousands of miles away from here. That's the one thing where I wish Abby Jimenez touched upon a little bit more. I love this book. I ordered the book like I said that I would. I don't know when it's coming. I think it's gonna get here next week. I cannot wait to do a book haul. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love books. Oh my gosh. I give this book a 4.5 stars. I can see myself rereading this book in the future. Maybe not this year because I have a lot of books to get to this year, but I tend to reread books a lot. Because of this book, I cannot wait to start on yours truly. I cannot wait. If I have time, I'll start it at the end of this month. But if not, definitely next month. I already see a dog on this. I see a woman writing. She's in business casual. And a guy who's sitting really casually on a swivel chair. I know this is more of a recap than a review. I just couldn't stop myself from spoiling everybody because I like to spoil you guys. You let me know if you like the recap. If you don't like the recap and just want me to review the book spoiler free, I have to learn to do that because whenever I give a review, I always tend to spoil. So I need to figure a way to do that tastefully. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've read this book, if you've never read this book, and now that I spoiled you, would you want to read this book? Because there are a lot of stuff that I did not touch on. This is already going to be a long video. I cannot afford to make it any longer. But yes, happy reading. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!